We conservatives warned you about the catastrophe that was headed our way if left-wing extremists seized power. No one can say we didn't warn you, but one of our best actually predicted how events would unfold, not because he had a crystal ball, but because he knew the nature of the worldwide left. Rush was right about America's axis of evil, a prediction that may astonish you with its accuracy in tonight's preamble. As you all know, the majority of the biased press and backstabbing social media companies worked to hide revelations that indicated Joe Biden and his corrupt family were selling out our nation to our enemies for cash. The Hunter Biden laptop, had it been widely talked about, reported and vetted, would have made Americans aware that a vote for Joe Biden was going to be a vote for nations that hate our guts just as much as the Democrat Party does. Had the corrupt media, both broadcast and social, had they put America first, we could have been spared skyrocketing inflation, empty store shelves, massive price hikes at the grocery store, 3 million illegal aliens being let into the United States and counting, a massive explosion in debt, a compromised military, and a pair of foreign policy disasters with Afghanistan and Russia. But that didn't happen. Instead, the majority of the press proved to be what President Trump warned us they are. In his now infamous and predictive tweet, President Trump accurately portrayed the left-wing press as an enemy of the people. Even members of the left can't hide the treachery of the basket of biased press any longer.
It looks like the left-wing media just buried the story because it wasn't part of their narrative, and that's why people don't trust the media.
And it's 100% true. The vast majority of the press is there to ensure that Democrats get away with corruption so that those same Democrats can continue to dish out excruciating pain to the American people. Even Fox is unloading on their former corrupt colleagues for dishonestly and disgustingly burying the legitimate story of the Biden family and the Democrat Party's corruption.
This almost 2 years after the media tried hard to help Biden cover it all up.
But why was he given tens of millions?
All right.
But he wasn't given tens of millions. That is totally discredited.
We've already been
totally discredited.
We've already been through this. I think the American people would rather hear about more substantial subjects. Well, you know, as the moderator, sir, I'm going to make a judgment call here.
$3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow.
Let's talk about
not true.
Gentlemen,
that report is totally discredited.
Many of you left-wingers might be asking yourself, well, why now? Why has the mainstream press started to report on a story that is likely to reveal that we elected one of the most morally bereft, deeply corrupt, and intellectually unqualified administrations in our history? For that answer, we have to look to some other key headlines that are coming around out there. Before the Hunter Biden laptop from hell, there was the unsubstantiated and debunked rumors of Trump-Russia collusion, put forth in a dossier from a crazy person, Christopher Steele, a British agent who was scared to death of the America First agenda. According to reporting from The Federalist, former resident Barack Hussein Obama's official campaign organization has directed nearly $1 million to the same law firm that funneled money to Fusion GPS, the firm behind the garbage Steele dossier. As the Washington Post reported, Perkins Coie, an international law firm with deep ties to Fusion GPS, was directed by both the Democrat National Committee and the Hillary Clinton campaign to retain Fusion GPS in April of 2016 to dig up dirt on then-candidate Donald Trump. Hillary was being aided, and it appears now, incriminated by the guy using and abusing our government for his dark political purposes, Barack Hussein Obama. Fast forward to today. Katie Pavlich at Town Hall observes that Joe Biden has a big problem on the horizon. The term big guy in Hunter Biden's emails refers to Joe Biden's alleged financial kickbacks when he was Barack Hussein Obama's vice president. In the email, Hunter Biden was identified as, quote, chair, vice chair, depending on an agreement with CEFC. That's a communist Chinese company. The email includes a note saying Hunter has some office expectations. He'll elaborate. In the email, a proposed equity split details, quote, 20 for H, that's 20% for Hunter, and 10 being held by H for the big guy. One of the people copied on the email spoke with Fox News and confirmed its validity. The source identifying the big guy as Joe Biden. A Salcedo Show axiom states that nobody knows a lib like a lib. They all know where their bones are buried. And the guy who seems to be at the center of all of the socialist corruption, none other than Barack Hussein Obama. Honest reporting from real news organizations, catching up to the prediction made in December of 2020 by the great Rush Limbaugh. Now, for those of you asking, why now? Why has the press started reporting on the Biden family corruption? And who gave that order for the press to do so? Rush Limbaugh knew.
Until, I'm going to tell you, folks, I think we're seeing enough information on the Bidens now to safely say that Biden will serve at the pleasure of Barack Obama. If Obama gives the green light to Democrats to take Biden out, there will be ample evidence that Biden has lied about his knowledge. His family was selling his name and office with his permission. And if that's in fact the case, then there's likely unreported money that will be found.
Oh, yes, there will be. Rush had a saying, he said he knew these people, meaning anti-American leftists like Obama, Biden, Pelosi, and the like. He knew these people like every square inch of his gloriously naked body. And Rush was right. He did know them.
The fake news media will temporarily become hard news media if the decision is made that Biden has to step down. Until that time, they will be covering for Biden. They'll be making excuses for Biden. They'll be ignoring all the negatives. You wait and see. And then watch what happens to their ratings when that happens.
Wow. And folks, it's all playing out just as Rush said. I'm convinced now, more than I've ever been, that elements within our own country, a tyrannical minority, are colluding with elements outside of our nation to bring our republic and our way of life to a screeching halt. They wish to replace our liberty and our freedom with their vision of a totalitarian paradise, which will be hell on earth if it's allowed to come to fruition. There needs to be a reckoning. From George Soros to Chris Wallace, from Barack Hussein Obama to Twitter, from James Comey to John Brennan. These architects, these agents in an American axis of evil who are orchestrating the attempted destruction of our people must pay a heavy price. In tomorrow's preamble, we'll start exploring ways to do just that.
Hey guys, it's Rob Carson. Experts are warning the current 40-year inflation high will only get worse. See how to protect your IRA with gold. Get a free info kit like this one at birchgold.com/Newsmax. There's no cost. There's no obligation. Just get your free info kit at birchgold.com/Newsmax.